Not all woodworking myths are modern in origin. Take your hand plane, for example. Every once in a while, someone will tell me that the hand planes on the rack behind me, or one they see sitting on the bench, is misplaced because I placed the sole on the bench instead of placing the plane on its side. I always answer that if you're afraid of the iron getting damaged from sitting on a wooden bench top, you got a problem, because plane irons are meant to cut wood, and when that edge comes into contact with a small knot or a bit of tough grain, the force against the edge of that iron can be far greater than gently setting it on the bench top. But they persist, because some folks have been taught all their lives that the proper way to lay down a plane is on its side. In fact, looking at old photos, it seems that this practice goes all the way back to about the 1930s, when schools started having shop classes. And there was a good reason for it, but not the reason modern woodworkers think of. You see, over time, the myth has developed that setting the plane on its side is to protect the iron from banging against the wood bench top and being damaged by that. But the real reason was to protect the iron from what might be on top of the bench. In shop classes, you had children who didn't always keep their benches very tidy, so they might just plop their plane right down on top of a tool or some other metal object like a nail. That metal-to-metal contact was the danger, not the wood bench top or the wood shelves that you would sit the iron down on. Ask a guy like Paul Sellers, who has discussed this on his vlog in the past. Paul was taught to lay his plane on its side in school half a century ago like everyone else. But when he got out of school and began working with actual cabinet makers and professional shops, he found that those old-timers placed their planes sole down where it was ready for action right next to their work. But it's not only a matter of convenience. Every time you lay the plane down, you give it a little bump. Especially if you're working quickly, laying the plane down and picking it up again and again, you're not always going to be perfectly gentle, and those little bumps can begin to skew the iron to the side, and the plane will take an uneven cut. But if you place the plane on its sole, the alignment of the iron is unaffected by those little bumps, especially modern planes. And since the weight of the plane is going to force the toe to touch the bench top first as you set it down, you're not dropping it on the edge of the iron either. Finally, a plane laying on its sole protects the sharp edge from another tool that may bump into it or even your hand brushing against it. Now, I know some of you have done it the other way for decades, and I am not saying that one way is right and one way is wrong. I'm merely saying there are pros and cons to both positions. Like many things in this craft, what some folks consider to be hard, fast rules are really based more on personal experience and force of habit. Digital tools make woodworking easier and more precise, and they aren't as expensive as they used to be, at least not at the Craftsman Gallery. They have a full range of eye-gauging digital tools for every type of woodworking task, and by supporting them, you're also supporting us. So please use the link below this video to check them out today. Wait, don't go yet. If you're new here, please subscribe, and remember to ring the bell. I would really appreciate that. Give us a thumbs up, or better yet, leave us a comment. I always read them. And be sure to check out the latest issue of Stumpy Nubs Woodworking Journal. It's always packed with tips, tricks, and tutorials designed to make you a better woodworker.